Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the commentary desk here from AFK Gaming Lounge. My name is Bart, and joining me in descending order of awesomeness, I don't know, who's better? F. and then Snoopy, I guess. Yeah. Of course, Snoopy from Team Solo Mid.
All right, we're in. Let's switch into
Tom and
picks
I
and bans.
are the commentators for today. And, yeah, we'll be moving into picks and bans right away for game number one. Sorry for the technical delays as we got into this one. But let's get this ball rolling and take a look at the picks and bans, as it is Eager versus Cognitive to start this one off.
Yeah, we've got a couple of good teams coming off. Again, we've got a wild card team on the other side of things. But for now, we're going to start off with some two solid SPL teams. As we said, so you have some experience playing against these guys, Snoopy, right? You've got Eager to our immediate left, and then on the right-hand side, Cognitive Gaming. What really, when you're looking at these two teams, what gods are you looking for to be picked or banned?
All right, ISIS is banned by Cognitive Gaming.
Well,
Hey, they don't.
some of the gods that are definitely chosen by Cognitive Gaming and Eager are the strong mid laners with really good push to control that early game.
David, we need to switch back to their cams. The game crashed.
So, yeah, I mean, so they're 1-1, basically, these two teams. Last time they faced in the SPL.
David,
they're coming in here. Cognitive
cams.
certainly the underdog, I would say, in this matchup. Eager trending upward this split. Had a little bit of a tougher split last time around. But now with, basically the rise of AFK and their scrim partner giving them all that really high-level practice, we'll see if they can bring it against the Cognitive boys, which is, I guess, technically this is home turf for them. Pern lives like 30 minutes from here, so
Tom, give me a head nod
closest.
if you have program feed now.
It's actually very interesting how this is the AFK Gaming Lounge, and Cognitive also, I mean, everybody's sort of here at a very relaxed atmosphere.
David, I need you to
But we were
mute
talking
game
to the
audio.
teams earlier, and so as I said, it's a relaxed atmosphere. But if you talk to the teams about who's trying to win and take it home, everybody's really dialed in.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's interesting. I mean, how does that work with you, Snoopy? I mean, it's not SPL, but you still got to
Hold on.
Yeah, definitely. With all the environments, there's definitely a lot of
Bart, head nod if you have program feed now.
like competition and whatnot. This is, as you said, a little bit more relaxed. There's nothing like, it's not worlds on the line. It's not necessarily you have to win this to go to another LAN or whatnot. But there's definitely bragging rights and obviously a lot of money on the line too. So
yeah, a little over 20 Gs coming the way of the Cognitive Scylla skin in honor of Cognitive Gaming winning Worlds last January, and now we're on our way back to the next Worlds as we are halfway through the final split of the season. And this is essentially the All-Star break, more or less.
Pretty much.
It's the bye week in the middle of the split, and it's really the top contenders out of North America all coming here together and having a go at it. I guess with the exception of Enemy, who, when this was kind of all brought together, was a huge unknown going into Split 3.
definitely.
Probably the notable team not here.
Right, and as we said, it's an invitational all handled by Cognitive, so Cog got to sort of pick and choose. It's funny, the teams that did wind up here, you get a little mix of the teams from last year and the teams that have sort of made their name this year. So you've got a little mix along the lines right there. And I mean, here, the week over in San Jose has been a lot of fun getting ready for everything sort of set up. The weather's been very nice to us. We haven't had too much
Oh,
nonsense.
man, yeah, has it ever.
How'd you spend yesterday, by the way?
Just walk around a lot. It was beautiful, nice, like not a cloud in the sky.
Oh, you are on Team Solo Mid, so Bay Life
Bay
agree with you?
life.
It agrees with you?
It was nice.
I saw the video that you put out with Barracuda skipping through the water.
No, that was Yannick.
That was Yannick.
Oh,
Oh,
right.
wow.
I heard ADC.
He's not an ADC anymore.
I'm not an ADC.
Yeah, there's no love between the mid
No.
laners.
Oh, no?
No, Stealth and I hate each other.
Yeah, as well you should. He's a hard guy to get along with, isn't he? Old Brett
he
Feely.
is so too cheerful.
Yeah,
Too nice
really,
of a
that's
guy.
what it is.
Yeah.
It's just too nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's unsettlingly nice.
It definitely is a little unsettling. At least when you hang out with Snoopy or Lassiz, you're like, you might hit me. All right. There's a little bit of question.
You thought
there.
Snoopy was ever? He's Canadian. He's like the
I will
nicest
not.
guy around.
I'll give you a hug before I hate you.
Yeah. Hugs, not drugs, man.
Yep.
Or thugs, for that matter.
Thugs, there you go. That's the real.
You know, Snoopy, he brings the pain sometimes.
I can see it.
Well,
I can
guys,
see it.
you may have heard briefly, but we do have an analyst desk here. A little bit audio issues getting things together this morning, as you may have noticed. But it's going to be Allied Anatoly, and the host Chris is going to be bringing you the breakdowns as we move through the games here today. And we got a lot of Smite to play. Not to mention, there's also an open bracket at this tournament,
Right.
which is a little bit different than what you're going to be used to. So right now, there are, I think, 2 or 3 teams competing on not the stage computers, but downstairs at the AFK Gaming Lounge for a chance to face against Cloud9, who's coming in as, I guess, the bottom seed of this tournament.
Cloud9 and, of course, Team Solo, or Cloud9 will face off against the wildcard team, the open bracket team, and then Team Solo Mid and AFK are the teams that have sort of the buys going into this one. They're further down the line, so we're going to be starting off with Eager versus Cognitive Gaming, which should be an interesting match and definitely something to keep an eye out for.
Wow, that was a loud sound.
Yeah.
I I mean, I had a train of thought, and then it got buzzed out, man. I got buzzed.
By an actual train.
An actual train just coming by.
Yeah.
But David, switch to game now.
Yeah, Snoopy, what's new? How's life? How's TSM? Are you guys feeling good coming into this tournament? Would you have maybe like to have the week off, or is this kind of vacation? What's the pressure for the LAN?
There's some pressure. I think we're taking it pretty casually. Like we want to do well, but with the roster switch and all that, I think this is our stuff to get dialed down and see how we're doing.
Is this
that's a great chance for you guys, I think.
Yeah. Are you guys taking this as an opportunity to sort of like mock LAN, where you can really like see what goes on and then fix things without it? Of course, $20,000 being a big deal, but as we said before, it's sort of different story.
Yeah. Whereas this LAN, you either get some money or a lot of money or no money. Whereas the next LAN is you get the worlds or you don't get the worlds.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Super Regionals coming up shortly, guys. But it does look like we are picks and bans underway here as the teams are locked in. It looks like the game is underway. So we'll get into that one shortly here. But yeah. Looks like Ymir going to be selected over on the side of Eager. CC Ornit as well, as it appears to be a Nuwa going to be locked in for them as well. A very early draft position.
So when you're going through these first round picks, I mean, when you're looking at a team, what I'm curious about the picks and bans is, rather than the picks themselves, when you're picking against a team, for example, Cognitive or Eager, you sort of know their tendencies. Does that initially change what you want to do right away, or do you just sort of stick to your own gameplay?
A lot of the time, if you're feeling comfortable, you want to stick to your own gameplay. If you can take picks away, then it's great. But as long as you don't want to be taking picks away and hurting yourself in the process. So a lot of these picks are going to be, especially the early ones, are going to be for yourself, and then try to like switch it up near the end and take away those prime picks for the opposing team.
Right. So when you're trying to pick for yourself, it sort of changes things, but you want to pick for the team in general.
Definitely, yeah.
Well, Band Champion Sun Wukong always drafted in high priority, as one would expect.
Yeah, he's definitely the top. He's probably the top solar at the moment. With that Bluestone change, he's got the lane clear that you need, and going into with those fast rotations with the bird form just really helps out. You don't even need to buy teleport if you don't want to.
Well, it's also the Poseidon draft is a little bit suspect, I think, here. Eager's going to be playing the Poseidon. They've picked him up nice and early. But into the Sun Wukong, like he has almost no pressure against the Sun Wukong. Sun Wukong just goes up into the Somersault Cloud anytime he sees Cracker cast. Yeah. He'll survive the verse most likely, and then he'll heal it all right back. So it should be a relatively simple game here, honestly, for Sun Wukong so far. Although the cripple is a little bit to worry about. And we'll take Medusa as well on the side of Eager for Zapman here. This is a big problem, I think, for Eager, actually. Oh, wow. I think this is actually a big issue, Snoopy, for Cognitive overall. I'm sorry, for Eager. The Cognitive drafted an exceptionally good lineup here. The two Warrior frontliners, Ares as well. Hell, Guan Yu going to shut down a lot of the healing, and Sun Wukong obviously are going to bring a lot of healing. Sun Wukong can heal himself back up as well. Versus Eager, they now basically need to struggle to find a way to build anti-heal into this team, and the question is whether or not they're going to draft. I just don't see them drafting Odin here.
Well, with the Odin band.
Odin's banned, yeah, right, of course.
It's going to be tough.
It would be tough to pick it with Odin ban, wouldn't it?
What, you got a Cyrus left?
No, Ra is what they're looking at. That means they're figuring Poseidon for the solo for Omega.
All right, interesting. Maybe a Ra solo. We'll see. It's got to be something that can deal with the Sun Wukong and live long enough that they can get into the late game with maybe the Ra sitting back, sitting in a tower and like building that physical defense.
So you're right. I mean, I think that the Ra solo. I mean, assuming that he doesn't just get run over by Sun Wukong, that's the real danger there, right? Is that you eat too much damage before you hit level 3 when you're able to get a second level in wave clear or in heal, right? That's where you can really pivot the lane, but it can be tricky to get there.
Most definitely. I think Cognitive has drafted a really, really good lineup with the double warrior and the double healing comp. It really helps out. There's going to be very few ways for Eager to burst down a target. They have to hard commit on Hell, which is tough when you have that much of a front line.
And bead juices on Eager is going to be really, really difficult to manage properly with the Ares Guan Yu combination. There's just such long range initiation out of the Blink and the Horse to make it happen. It can be tough, but I think that Eager certainly has the player capabilities to overcome this. And you may notice as well, skins are in for this tournament. If you are a normal SPL viewer, you'll know they are not. But here you can see old PBM rocking the Twitch Ymir.
Yeah, a little more casual here, as we said at the Cognitive Gaming Invitational. Gears of Fate. Now, my question here, with all these healers, Snoopy, at what point do you really go to the Brawler's Beat Sticks and the anti-heal items in your build?
It's got to be early, especially with the Poseidon. I wouldn't mind seeing a Vampiric Shroud Tiny Trinket start, and maybe spin into those boots and then build right into that Divine. Get that as soon as possible. Especially you're going to be against the Hell middle, so getting that Divine on ASAP is going to be great. With the you're going to be like with the Weakening Curse nerf, it hurts it, but it's still definitely something you're going to need to pick up against a Guan and a Hell. Beat Stick is it's not optional, but it's tough to pick up in the build. It does get a lot of pen, and
it's like a 5th item for some Wukong.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's really hard to. You're right. Pick it up early on in the build it's a little expensive, and the power really isn't there compared to really. I mean, Executioner and Jotun's Wrath and items like that really steroid your damage significantly versus the anti-heal.
With that said, I kind of feel like Brawler's Beat Stick can fit in because of the penetration you mentioned. I feel like it fits in a build better than Divine Ruin. Divine Ruin, you kind of.
I'm going to disagree with that. I think Divine Ruin's a lot easier to build into. Like, the build-up is much faster, and you get a lot more out of the lifesteal on a mage early on.
And last did do that Vampiric Shroud Tiny Trinket start, which I would like to see a rush into Divine Ruin after boots, most likely. One thing that I'm looking at Ymir's team now, it's definitely difficult for them to pick up a Brawler's Beat Stick. With Bellona not being the most ability-based god, she's more of an auto-attacky.
Yeah.
Like that Heavy Hammer and that Itch Fill and all that, as well as the Medusa, which is most definitely a hunter, or obviously. It was definitely an auto-attack god.
Yeah. I mean, but Medusa has, she has a couple abilities she can get out there, but you definitely don't want your Brawler's Beat Stick going there, unless it's going to be your 6th item, and that's just really you're picking it up because you've already bought Jotun's Wrath and Titan's Bane and your Thor. So, I mean, it's really unlikely that it's going to go her way.
Yeah. One thing that I'm actually really surprised to see is Zap has actually picked up the Death Toll as opposed to the Bluestone, which Medusa does have some good clear, but adding Bluestone on top of that just pushes her over the edge.
Especially because Medusa's poke in the lane is so hard to avoid.
Nearly unavoidable, yeah. Yeah, absolutely right. And I think overall, I guess maybe he's going, Medusa does have that 3-hit attack speed steroid that does synergize fairly well with Death's Toll in terms of like a very small amount of burst heal between level 1 and 3. And as well as the mana sustain that the Bluestone Pendant doesn't bring.
Guan Yu in the middle lane right now. Now, we've seen Cognitive play this sort of jungle Guan Yu before, and it's not the ganker that so many people are accustomed to seeing in the jungle, and it fits what Pernicus really does. I mean, we see a lot of these tanky junglers. When you're playing against that instead of the surprise, I'm a Naja coming out of the jungle, so to speak, how does that change your game plan?
It changes a lot, especially on the team with the Guan Yu or djPernicus, like the Kraken, the Guan Yu, the Odins. He's more of an initiate with the follow-up damage coming from his mid lane and his dual lane. So they're going to look to probably gank the middle and the dual lane a lot to get those carries ahead. They definitely need that damage to continue on.
Just a shifting of focus of where the teams want to be at.
Meerkat.
Omega.
Can't be having that, dude.
Yeah, poking at Meerkat pretty well.
That Ra's Divine Light, I believe that's his number 2 ability.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, does that spell really, really sucks. Like, it deals a bunch of damage over time. It's a really long duration slow, and if you're looking at it when it fires, it's an even longer duration slow, and it stacks up.
It blinds you.
Yeah, and blinds you, I guess. Sure, why not? Also blind, but it's just that long duration slow, and Meerkat, he's doing fine though. He's Sun Wukong at the end of the day. He hits level 5 now. He can enjoy 30% HP recovery in his ultimate really at will. So.
Yeah, I mean, the Sun Wukong with the Bluestone has sort of been the perennial lane clearer here, so I like the option of Eager to go for Ra, who is the original lane clearer, right? You just hit the Searing Pain or the Celestial Beam, and it clears the way for you, easy peasy. So,
Snoopy, you don't play the Hunter role anymore, but still knowledgeable about it, one would assume. So the Transcendence Open from Xbalanque is the rank 1 in Bluestone versus the rank 2 Transcendence Max Pot Rush. Why, and what's the difference? And it just seems a little awkward, right? Because you have to go back and get your rank 2 and then come back again versus the Dev's Glove, which is a single back build.
Yeah, it's a little awkward. One thing, though, is with the Bluestone, it really, really helps out you clear, especially with the god that has such low clear as Xbalanque against such high clear god as Medusa. We actually see them, they're not push a tower quite yet, but they're actually sitting pretty far back for the 3-man rotation coming out of Eager.
Like you mentioned, they don't much have a choice, right? It's Ares, Xbalanque, probably the worst clear lane that you can pick, I would say. Is there anything? Yeah, there's not much worse than this.
No, not really.
Although what it does lack in clear, it does bring in really significant turnaround damage.
Yeah.
If you overextend here, the dot damage will stack up very, very quickly, and you will die very quickly as well.
So Lassiz makes the rotation all the way to left lane. He's going to lose a couple of tower. He makes his way finally back to mid. djPernicus over here in the left jungle.
And they want to fight on this purple buff,
Yeah.
it looks like, and they want to keep it away from Cabom. Let's take a look here as Guan Yu is actually going to go in there and attempt to contest it.
Oh, does not steal it away, goes to Eager. One thing I would really like to see is COG kind of back up from this fight. I'm surprised Eager's not looking to go in. They have a really, really good level 5 with Ymir, Bellona, and Poseidon.
Yeah, and Eagles rally into a Kraken should be an easy kill. There's
Yeah.
no beads or Aegis on the board right now. I agree. A little bit suspect that they didn't try to initiate there. I think that why is it the hell? Just how good hell can be in team fights?
Definitely, but
She doesn't have really.
There's
anything.
no escape. They have a Blink Ymir, a Bellona. I think there's good ways to gap close that. They might just be playing a little cautious. They got the purple buff. They got what they wanted. So they're probably just backing up and playing it slow, getting those small wins. And they're already up 500 gold.
So why Ares do you think drafted here? I know. I mean, it's one of Aror's kind of favored gods, but it was first picked, I believe. Do you think that's just? Did they expect Eager to ban it away? You think?
Maybe they expected to ban it away. I believe Eager early picked Ymir, correct? And
Yeah.
maybe they thought they were going to, throw that Ymir in the jungle. Daretocare has played it a couple times and put PolarBearMike on the Ares, try to take away Auror's god pool, because he does like the Ymir, he does like the Ares. And maybe they just really want it. He's phenomenal on it, and shutting down that Medusa and Bellona, even if it's a short dash, it really hurts them.
If you guys are just joining us, this is the Cognitive Invitational Gears of Fate tournament. We are here live in San Jose. It's a 6-team LAN, 5 invited teams, 1 open bracket team that is currently playing, and that'll be our next set. We'll be going Cloud9 versus the open bracket.
Cognitive Gaming taking on Eager here just yet. And this is the best of 3. All these matches will be best of 3 until we reach the grand finals, which, of course, will be a best of 5 going to turn up there for the conclusion of the tournament. And those finals will be held tomorrow. It's a 2-day event, which is very exciting.
Yeah, sit back, relax, and enjoy a full day of Smite coming your way now. Just getting started here. Game 1, set 1. 1 of 4 today.
Yeah, so we've got Cognitive Gaming versus Eager right now. Following this will be the Cloud9, I believe.
Yeah, Cloud9 open bracket.
Exactly. And then those winners will go on to face the teams that have buys coming into this, which are Team Solo Mid, of course.
We're maybe going to see our first initiation here. Best, he gets off the invuln. His beads as well were used there. There's going to be a gank. It sounds like the wall. Pernicus dashes out of it. Well played there. The turn cover. You can hear the boys blowing up. We're 2-3 seconds behind. There's your first blood on the Lassiz, and this is what we were talking about.
Mike got a slow on him from Cabom.
The turnaround potential from the team. If you overextend, you get changed. You can be run down very easily by Guan Yu. The Ymir wall nearly was enough to save. Pernicus can continue in on Omega. This may be enough.
Good.
Yes.
That's 3 on the Guan Yu.
The jukes.
No.
Okay. All right.
Wow. DJ
And
picks it up.
That's a big old cone from Xbalanque that'll clean it up.
he was just saving that kill for the passive stack, man. DJ didn't want to get that.
That's right. Yeah, that was. You're actually probably right there. I think. I don't know if you were joking, Snoopy, but
I mean, it worked out.
yeah, I think it was. It was certainly the right choice, right? You want to get as many passive stacks on a Xbalanque as possible. If you aren't aware, guys, Xbalanque's passive is every time he gets a kill, he gets bonus permanent power to the tune of 5 per stack. An extra 30 power can be stacked up in this kit. And that may not seem like a lot, but most damage items in Smite hover around 30 power for physicals. So it's basically an extra damage item. PBM, this is the issue with Emirs is that they do die very, very quickly. Aurora getting credit for that kill. A return kill coming out as well, though. Pern going to fall. Oh, it's the Medusa ultimate, Blood ultimate as well. Aurora's going to go up into the chains, and then Aegis out of it.
Beautiful heal coming out from Best, and Cognitive Gaming now making their counter-initiate. But Omega will drop his heal, this time used as a zoning mechanism, and just shoves the enemy off. Now, I love the decision from COG to go right to the Gold Fury after taking a 6.5-minute tower, but looks like it didn't work out well for them, as Eager not only going to get a kill off of it, but also will take the Gold Fury and in turn turn around that lead that COG took and tie things up.
COG on the other side, though, with the Gold Fury going down, is often the case. Anytime you see aggression on one side of the map, the other side starts to try to pressure towers, and Sun Wukong, Meerkat will get one for Cognitive, and that'll put Cognitive back on top of the gold and net worth overall. And yeah, look at the golden hand here. 2,200 on Sun Wukong. That's going to be a pretty fast Mystical Mail.
Mystical Meerkat online.
No.
Son of guy.
Going to be building.
It's an Emerald Talisman.
Going to be building into that.
Aurora turning up. There's about to be a fight, it looks like.
Huge initiate on the left-hand
nice,
side.
Chains.
Zapman is toast. Who gets credit? It's Cabom. That's 2 stacks on the passive.
Yeah, really well played here by Cognitive Gaming to get that 5-1 now over Eager. Eager seems a little bit shook now, and I think that the lineup it woes are what's showing here. I think that we were talking about it a little bit earlier, but there is just no real natural answer on the side of Eager for really anything that Cognitive Gaming wants to do here outside of high gank ability on the best. But they haven't really executed there. Except for, I mean, they did find the kill in the middle lane, but they've now had 5 additional kills turn around on them.
You know, Bart, Stewie, coming into this match, and Guan Yu, not exactly the gank potential, right? We don't, and I think that's pretty well understood, but it's playing out differently. He's 2-1-3. He's leading a lot of these.
I don't know that I agree that Guan Yu doesn't have that much gank potential. I think Cavalry Charge it's a great ability. It's to chase down overextended gods that have high mobility, Ra's, Poseidons, the likes, that don't have those dashes or leaps, but do feel quite safe to move up with all their MS. Yeah. He can run them down, and I mean, an immediate kind of instant leap off the horse to get the stun plus the dash is a long duration slow in addition to a stun. I mean, it can work, I agree, but it's not. It's certainly not Bellona or Naja.
Yeah, that's sort of what the comparison was coming to, but DJ really forcing the issue and turning it around, really
He's used to playing this kind of thing. I mean, it's fairly similar, honestly, to Cabrakan.
It's very similar to these tanky gods that we're used to seeing in the jungle out of DJ, who might be in trouble right now. 3 members of Eager plus Zapman on top, immediate stun, and DJ does a little bit. But
wow, they just turn around on a Zapman. Aror, L for love, as he's going to pull one in. It's just Daretocare. Chain's coming out, but he's off the mark a little bit there as Aror. But Cognitive once again gets away with a kill, and Pernicus snakes out of there without dying.
Just barely 6-1 on the kill charts as 10 minutes pass, and Fire Giant is now spawned. And with that healing coming out of Best and djPernicus combined, what looked to be a dire situation for COG is now going to turn into a full health left-hand tower push.
Not to mention, that's also the 2 deaths onto Zapman, and you can see they're not worried about the physical damage potential coming out of the Bellona or Medusa at this point on the side of Cognitive. They're going to just rush down Emerald Talismans on their frontliners and challenge Poseidon to get anything done in this game.
Really taking the advantage here is Cognitive Gaming. We've seen this twice now. A small win, whether it was a double kill or more or even less. They took the mid tower immediately. Cognitive does the same thing on the left side. How are they identifying these windows? Because they're very small, Stoopy. How hard is it right now for Cognitive to really make that clutch decision?
It's definitely a team effort. Like, it's finding your guy, where is he on the map, if you can do this, if you force him out, and especially with COG's lineup, they can stay in fights for so long with that healing. Whereas Eager's got it back there at half HP, they can't survive, and it's a lot easier with a team where you can stay in fights to find those little windows, and they're doing it like perfectly.
And that's what we're seeing. I mean, you mentioned the magical defense part with the Emerald Talismans, and it's definitely there, but as they get finished maybe into a Stone of Gaia, we're just going to see more HP 5, which is just going to push that counter siege even more so. So we saw djPernicus barely get out alive, and by the time the tower went down, he was full HP. That's just going to help.
Divine Ruin was completed right away on the Poseidon, but no creeping curses coming out just yet, so not going to look to shut down the healing through that avenue. Spear of the Magus on Hell. A little bit strange, I think. Not really a daughter.
It's a little odd with only 3 damaging abilities.
Yeah,
but it's still one of the highest damaging things that you can pick up.
Yeah,
getting out that true damage, especially with the already penetration on her too.
Yeah, when it comes to Obsidian Shard, it's good for the burst damage. But as far as the mathematical, theoretical top DPS and all, right? Spear is always going to be number 1. It's just a matter of can you get that many spells off is really going to make it worth it. So we do see some people picking Obsidian Shard, most notably on burst gods like a Poseidon or whatnot, but if you're able to be in the middle of these fights for an extended period of time, that spear will really come out.
Well, it's just that you have the Ra's and Poseidons of the world that have abilities that hit multiple times, and you're looking at Hell, who's going to have to hit 2 skill shots to really make good use of it. It's not so much a guaranteed. She has one fairly guaranteed AOE based spell, PB AOE, but there you see shut off there. But besides that, it's going to have to be a couple of well placed line targets.
And one thing, too, is it's not like a Hebo or something with 1 damaging ability that's on a short cooldown.
Yeah.
Especially with no cooldown reduction at the moment. She's sitting on 10-second cooldowns, 10, 13-second cooldowns.
Oh, wow, very true.
Where it's going to be tough. You actually can't stack that or continue to stack that Spear of the Magus.
I think you would have probably preferred to maybe see Spear of the Magus on the Ares as a 4th item and let Hell build into more cooldown reduction early on, Breastplate of Valor, those types of items. And still get the Spear of the Magus. I mean, because it does apply for your allies as well. But here, We'll see. I mean, it certainly worked out just fine at 0-4 for best.
Yeah.
No mystical mail on the Sun Wukong.
No, he went for that Emerald Talisman.
No, I mean, that's pretty much mystical mail is a big staple of the solo lane, but here we get to see the warrior against the mage matchup. That's
Well, what solo lane? I mean, they really haven't even been back there. He took the tier 1 tower, and I don't think Omega's gone back to the solo lane yet, just trying to group and fight as eager as they are falling behind Cognitive. Fight's about to break out here at the Gold Fury, it looks like.
This is definitely what COG wants to do with the healing comps. They can sit there and tank Gold Fury all day. They just want to bait Ymir into a fight that they're not comfortable taking.
Meerkat, he's going to find the stun. Blink in from Aror as well. Not going to find anybody to pull. We'll get 2 sets of Aegis and an ultimate. PBM getting quite low. It's a nice crack, and they're doing a lot of damage to COG, but they do have the heal comp, as we mentioned. Pernicus may fall down to the dot here. No. He's going to hide behind the tower. Meerkat finds a double in the backside. Getting disrupted is Eager, and now Eager may get turned on as the heals start coming back out. This is the problem with the composition on the side of Eager. They have no way to bail out of this one, and down they go. It's a triple for Meerkat.
Triple for Meerkat, and 1 picked up by djPernicus. Far fall in that fight. It winds up being a deicide, so all 5 fall. Cognitive Gaming picks up Gold Fury. It's 11-1.
That's
The
6.
gold is 4,700, by the way, of the blue team. Cognitive Gaming looking fantastic. Damn.
Also worth noting for this game that this tournament does allow captains and coaches or analysts or one basically 6th member to be in comms. So just a heads up there. Kind of interesting facet to this tournament. You got Kret on the comms on the side of Eager. Cognitive, I don't think they have a 6-man.
No, they do not. No 6-man on the side of Cognitive. But from the sounds of it, it sounds
like Aurora. Aurora's making enough noise for like 3 people, so it's going to be fine.
There's a lot of noise coming out from the side of Cog, which is exciting. This is one of the more, this is the opportunity.
Well,
to really
this is
see
home
what's going
turf,
on.
baby. They're fighting for, this is honor for them.
Yep.
For those of you who don't know, sister teams, AFK and Cognitive Gaming, owned by a couple different members of the Fries family.
djPernicus is going to go ahead and pick up those mints, just putting his team further in the lead. 5,000 gold. And now this is a conversation that we always have amongst each other. Snoopy is
who has the best hot dog in America?
Yes, actually.
That's the conversation that I like to. Is it Pink's in LA?
I would not know.
Yeah. Damn.
I am from the north.
Do you guys
Where's the best poutine in Canada?
Quebec.
Quebec?
Yeah.
The Frenchies make it best?
They do.
They do. I've had it there. It's really good.
You can tell he's actually Canadian because he said Quebec and not Quebec.
Yeah, not Quebec.
Yep.
Yeah. Quebec. Are these urchin rushdowns on the side of COG? See the 2 cloaks come out.
No, I don't think it's Urchin. It's probably going to be
Spirit Robes?
Spirit Robes. I would see Spirit Robes. Definitely not Magi's anymore.
Magi's not as strong. But so what I was getting at before Bart decided to talk about wieners is the gold lead. We've got 5,000. What point does it really tilt in your
How many hot dogs can you buy with 4,000 additional gold?
Are you that hungry?
A hell of a lot of hot dogs.
That's a lot of hot dogs.
Yeah.
No, I'm just look. Let's lighten the mood a little bit. Let's talk about hot dogs.
Well, it really depends on what team comp you're facing.
Sure.
Whereas like an early game team comp, if you're against an early game team comp and they have 1, 2, 3, 4K gold on you, it's not the biggest a deal. But COG's got a late game team comp, and they're already up past Eager's early game team comp.
Right. Well, what it really comes down to is the casing, right? Like, does it have the right bite to it when you eat the hot dog?
Most definitely.
Or is it soggy? All right, here we go. No, the fight's breaking out here at the Tier 2 Cognitive. And Meerkat, he has really no fear. I mean, there's so much healing to just get him out of these situations. And look at Pern on the backside, just making it awful for Eager. And this one is, I mean, is this over?
Level 10 support.
I don't see a way coming back.
I think they just got wildly outdrafted.
Unless COG throws at a Fire Giant, I do not see a way of them coming back. Meerkat can sit in front of 5 people all he wants. He's got a CC Munal, he's got a Cleanse from Hell, he's got 3-4 heals.
And that's
it seems like it all went wrong to me in the fact that they don't have a kill onto Hell, right? Hell is a bad solo laner when it comes to avoiding ganks. Like, she's probably the 2nd or 3rd worst mage in the game at dealing with ganks. I mean, basically your only option is that you fire off your 2, and the delay between it casting and you clicking the button is when the stun happens and it cleanses it. Besides that, you're dead in the water. Especially on a team that has Blink, Ymir, Poseidon, and Bellona to set up that chain stun into Kraken. It should be free kills. Bede's 1 still only forced out of the Hell. They haven't forced her to buy any defensive items realistically in the laning phase, and allows Best to go for the most greedy build possible in Spear of the Magus Pen Boots.
Yeah, most definitely. I think Eager just played the early game a little scared. Like, they had that Bellona Poseidon combo at level 5. You jump on Hell, and what does she do? She just dies, especially with no Aegis or beads at that time. They just played a little slow, and I think playing slow against a team like this, you just can't do it.
The composition-wise, just it really predicated a very fast-paced game out of Eager. They really needed to take control of the early game, and they haven't they won't scale really as well in the late game against the Xbalanque Hell. That's just such a battery. But they do have the 2 weakening curses on the side of Eager now in addition to the Divine Ruin. So in these extended fights, they do have an opportunity to shut down the healing on the side of Cognitive. But do they have the damage to follow it up is the question with these investments into anti-heal actives.
As long as COG can survive for 5-10 seconds, they're going to win the fight. So it's got to be like a burst onto Hell. That's got to be who goes down. And now she just picked up a full Heavenly.
Full Heavenly, full beads.
That's problematic. I mean, so the change to the weakening curse, it went from 100% healing reduction to about 65%. There was no change on the side of healing, on the side of the positive healing boost that you get for Heavenly Agility. So you just are healing for so much more, even through the weakening curse when you have Heavenly Agility online.
Yeah, it's always, always like to point out that those items are additive. So that means that, if you have 100% healing reduction out of items or actives, Heavenly Agility will give you that bonus 10%, so then it is the 90% reduction.
And that's why we're seeing Rod of Asclepius actually being picked up now for the first time in a long time, because players are trying to stack all of this healing reduction, and then in return, players are stacking healing augmentation.
Even with that 4-man rotation on a Meerkat, he gets away scot-free without ultimate. Almost back to full HP by himself. Not to mention if he just wants to walk over to his friend Best, then he'll get right back up there.
Well, things are getting a little bit worse now, in fact, for Eager, as the Gold Fury started up again for Cognitive. And the itemization over here as well. It's the Soul Eater complete. That just makes Xbalanque a little bit more resilient, gives him the life steal as well. But more importantly, perhaps Sun Wukong and Guan Yu get that bonus armor aura. A little bit of power as well, but the armor, makes him so resilient in these fights.
Coming down the middle is Cognitive Gaming, and there's so much noise right now.
Laura on the left side.
Aurora is a loud gentleman. PBM goes in, it's beads off by Best. Here comes a fight. The weakening curses are out, but they're going to be cleansed by the Hell. In the back line is Pernicus one again, but this time it's Meerkat who's actually going to find the big rotation. Best filing a bit low, but they didn't find the burst there. Here comes the ultimate combinations. Pernicus going to try to find one, but it's blinked away from. They get pulled back in by the Ares as well. Omega in a bit of trouble. Kraken off the mark from Lassiz. They're going to get run down here. Omega chain. Omega is going to fall. It's just Zapman alive for Eager. They're going to maybe dive the tower here as well, but you may see an F6 coming out shortly, as I don't see much options for Eager to find their way back into this one. That was the fight they wanted. They found the weakening curses early, but now they will lose their 5th member, and there is the F6 indeed. GG, Cognitive Gaming. Bring the funk.
So strong. We saw the option of the Guan Yu in the jungle before the regular season, and it looked very strong. And here at LAN, even stronger.
Yeah, I think so. I think overall, this one fell apart at picks and bans.
Yeah, I agree.
It's really hard to point the finger at exactly where the turning point was, but it seemed like once the Guan Yu was selected after the Sun Wukong, it was basically a foregone conclusion when they final picked Hell. Right? It was like, if they take another piece of healing in this composition, with the Odin already banned out, Osiris not having a great matchup against the High Clear of Ra, not having a great matchup against the Sun Wukong, realistically, Sun Wukong could really out-rotate Osiris really, really well, especially with teleport. It just ends up being they were in between a rock and a hard place, trying to struggle to find some final pick that was going to allow them to either burst down the Hell really quickly, like you were mentioning during the fights, or bring any anti-heal to the table naturally.
So, if you're looking at a god like, is Sobek enough anti-heal to justify putting that in the lineup? What is that worth it? Or other gods?
Sobek gets eaten up by Sun Wukong, right?
Yeah, it would definitely be really, really tough to get pushed on a tower, and even still, you're not going to be in those fights until about 10, 15 minutes, where if the Hell gets big before that, it doesn't even matter.
Right.
Well, what was interesting, right, was that the Hell didn't really get big in the way that you would expect, right? It wasn't Breastplate of Valor, Warlock Sash, and then like an E-Staff or a Book of Thoth coming out after it, where it was like, yeah, we let Hell get out of control. We let her get tank items, get enough mana pool, and get enough damage to back it up. It was a Spear of the Magus Rush. It was like Best played super greedy, and we didn't blow him up for it. It was more that, right? And that's kind of the nature of the beast, right? And maybe you'll see some of that with junglers as well as they rotate in, right? Like Guan Yu is a pretty greedy jungler, I would say. Doesn't have great secure for the buffs. He's a good invade god, but he doesn't have great clear times either. It's okay. It's all like okay. His ganks are okay, but then it's like team fights start, and all of a sudden you have Guan Yu.
Yeah, he's more of a lane assistant rather than a lane ganker. He's going to show up and help you out, sort of alleviate pressure or provide pressure, but he's not going to be the solo man by himself that we see some of the other gankers come in. And so with that, as you said, it's all about the end product. Later on, we just have a Guan Yu that can keep everybody healed up, and that's really what we saw here today.
Really tough game for PBM, I think, as well. He basically spent the entire game just trying to get to the fights as Ymir versus the really mobile composition.
His first LAN, actually.
First LAN for PBM? There he is. PolarBearMike.
It's tough as Ymir against so many slows. Like, you got Hell, you got Guan Yu, especially with the horse chasing after you got Ares chains. You're not going to get away. If you blink in, you're there to stay, or you're going to die.
Well, we can expect the Hellband this time around.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the originals. If you go back to, we might have seen so many metas, and there have been so many things taken as absolute fact. And a long time ago, around the launch tournament, Ymir was just shunned, not picked because of his entire lack of mobility. Why would you ever pick this god? There's no mobility. Now he's very frequently picked, but in this game specifically, we were shown that Achilles heel.
Well, then you remember that his ultimate
mobility.
has 400 base damage and 120% scaling, so.
Yep.
And Glacial Strike's on an 8-second cooldown with, what, 290 base damage or something like that, 280?
35% slow for 4 seconds.
Yeah, it's, you know, speaking of, like, that launch tournament, you know, one of, like, the main things that I remember is, like, is Xaylia solo laning Ymir, right?
Oh, yeah.
And it was like, you asked him why, and he was like, it's on an 8-second cooldown. Like, you have it, like, 3 per wave. You know, as long as you have the mana, you're fine.
Mm-hmm. And Ymir are really able to sort of provide pressure. And with the blinks that are coming in recently with the meta, just so popular and potent, Ymir's able to really get in and get out from different places when he wants to. Well, get in, maybe not get out. But as we take a look at Eager, sort of recouping after that last one. Kret standing up. Now, this is interesting, actually.
That's not a Bond villain. That is their analyst.
Very important part. We have 6 people on comms, and they don't practice like that at home because that's not allowed in the SPL. So maybe that inclusion is throwing them off more than it's helping.
Well, certainly, I mean, Kret and any analyst or any coach is involved in picks and bans during even SPL games. Actual in-game coaching, I don't know, maybe yes or no. You know, I mean, in an online game, you know, if Kret's on their local comms, I mean, it is what it is. But
I've actually, Kret says to prepare for LAN, they actually don't.
They don't, right, because they can't have it at LAN.
Exactly.
Okay, makes
sense. So they
sense.
like to practice for LAN specifically. So this is a little bit interesting for them. Might be a different dynamic. Whereas on the other side, Cognitive, they don't even have a 6-man. Right there, Demon Machine is actually the admin.
He's like the 5.5 man.
I mean, he's the admin. He's wearing the Cognitive, but that's just because we're here at the Cognitive Gaming Invitational. So not a part of this squad. It's just for, you know, as close to the camera. You've got Cabom right there, Aror adjusting his seat. Best in the glasses. That's not Ryan Gosling. That's djPernicus. And then we could just barely see Meerkat.
Is there. So, yeah, guys, if you don't know what you're watching here, this is the Cognitive Invitational, the Gears of Fate. We're live in San Jose, and it is a 6-team LAN, 5 professional teams, 1 amateur team, and you're watching the first-round matchups. This is game number 2 that we're getting set to go into of set number 1 for the day. Out of 4 sets is scheduled. And, yeah, let's talk a little bit here about Eager. You know, what do they need to do to get – I mean, it's comfort pick time, right?
It's comfort big time, and I think they just need to play a little more aggressive. They seem really reserved, which is definitely not what Eager plays as. They're really, really aggressive players like Zap, Last, even like Dare. They just want to go hard all the time. But with that, I don't know if it was nerves or what it was, but they just, especially with the early game team that they had against the late game team that COG had, they seemed not scared,
Timid,
but
yeah.
Well,
No,
I mean,
really reserved.
Yeah.
Zapman coming off vacation, coming into this one, and he got worn out in lane. I mean, maybe it's just a little bit of lack of practice for him. You know, there's not a lot of off time during the Pro League, so usually the players in like the one off week you have in the middle of the split, everyone like gets out and goes and tries to relax some. But then there's an invitational, and you have to come play like right after that. So, you know, there's maybe a little bit of rust that needs to be worked off, and maybe, you know, game 2. I think you're right. I think, you know, if they don't win the early game in game 2, it's going to be really tough to like rally back and somehow take the late game. But like we said before, Eager COG was a 1-1 split when they played earlier in the season. So
Oh, yeah.
may see an exciting best of 3.
Yeah, the best of 3 is really the key point for me here. At the SPL, we play sort of not best of 2s, but we play 2 games each, sort of just split down the middle, and win-loss record is taken care of that way. Here with the best of 3, I mean, it doesn't matter if you just win 1 game. You have to win the 2. So for Eager coming into this, we talked a little bit to, I believe it was Aror, who said, you know, when you're down 1 game, you just take it 1 game at a time. You can't think of the whole series.